like as a person?
Well, I loved EAZY. I loved working for EAZY. He was like a lot of different types of person. I mean, he was short but stocky. He's about 5 feet, but he was stocky. He could stand still and do a backflip and land on his feet. His upper body strength was amazing. I saw him knock some guy out at a video shoot. Some big dude was getting in the way of Mission Lady video shoot, and EAZY walks up. He's probably 250, 300-pound guy. EAZY knocks him out with one punch. So EAZY was bad like that, but he was also funny. He was quiet. He was kind of shy. He liked to spend money. He was very generous. Used to give me weed, whenever I needed it, which was nice. And this was a whole new world for me. I was, never involved in anything like this before. And a couple times, I did, even towards the end when he was in the hospital. He called me and wanted me to give him my phone card because he had phone calls he needed to make and didn't want Tamika to know about it. So, we were kind of tight that way. And if there was any kind of an emergency or anything, I'd be the guy to go, help deal with the problem. And there were many problems.
It sounded like you and him had a special bond.
Yeah, I thought so. It's like even the guys at the end, I was the last ruthless employee to be fired. The last one. Yeah, everyone went before me. And they all told me, EAZY told Tamika not to fire me, to keep me on. So I was told, by 3 or 4 different people that were close to him. But, I wouldn't have stayed anyway.
Group NWA has now become single artists themselves and pretty big. Are you still friends with your group?
Yeah, a couple of them. Ice Cube, MC Ren, and Yella.
Okay, what about the other one?
Who? You talking about?
All right. Okay.
The guy that was Dr. Dre. Yeah. You remember the group, the World Class Wrecking Crew? Yeah. That wore lipstick, stick lace, biker shorts, and ruffles, eyeliner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you go look back to his old albums before, where he did songs like The Cabbage Patch, The Fly, He's Bionic, Dr. Dre, and you look back at him in his doctor suit, you could tell where he originally came from. See, if you look back at me, my beginning, I did the Boys in the Hood. So I was cruising down the street in my 6'4". So it's 93 now, and Dre is all of a sudden cruising down the street in his 6'4" now. So I figured he like a 93 wannabe. Because back then, he did all this Cabbage Patch stuff and dancing and wore the lipstick and the doctor outfits with the stethoscope and did all this techno music. He was never really from the streets. And I figured, what he talking about? He said he's got a song I call G Thing. I figured G stuff come from the concrete, and that's the streets, which he was never from the streets. Only reason why people affiliate him with the streets is through me. So it's like, where we from, Compton and Long Beach, they don't get along with each other. See, people in Compton really don't, claim Dre as being from Compton, and they don't claim Snoop from being from Long Beach. So it's still a whole little gimmick he got.
Wherever you be, calling Dr. Dre to surgery.
A shiny doctor's outfit with the stethoscope and the whole thing, and come up there and put on a show. It haunted me later, but that's what we did.
Damn, E, they tried to fade you on Dre Day, but Dre Day only met EAZY's payday.
In this episode, we'll be exploring areola octopus, seeing the intricacies of how this empire was interwoven in the gangster rap from its origins. From the godfather of gangster rap, EAZY E, to Godfather Entertainment, who was alleged to distribute Death Row Records. I give you an incredible story, sinister plots, intricate twists, abstract.
So you were actually there when Suge Knight, Harry O made their initial deal. Met.
I know how they met. I know the whole thing.
Okay.
Harry O was doing an album on Lydia, his wife.
Right.
So me and him sellers, I tell him, I say, look, you doing an album on Lydia, you better use Dr. Dre on that album. You know him and EAZY fell out. So he ain't working right now.
Okay.
So Harry took that advice and started looking for Dr. Dre.
And Suge Knight?
And Suge Knight was his manager.
Was Dr. Dre's manager?
Yeah, we'll leave it right there.
Okay.
And maybe later on we'll do another interview and talk about it.
Okay, and the rest of the history. Did you ever deal with EAZY?
I spoke to EAZY one time when I was on the street, and I spoke to him one time through Harry O while we were in jail.
Okay.
A young man by the name of Eric had told me about Suge's background, and that Suge was aware of my background, and that he was somewhat intrigued behind my past, and he had wanted to hook up with me in some form or fashion. Suge had 5 or 6 pending cases, which David Kenner was able to control and get rid of. Interscope would have not been able to deal with the death row problems if it wasn't for Kenner. Kenner was the mediator. He would go to them and tell Jimmy how much money he needs to fix the situation and let him handle it his way. David is as smooth as you want to be and as vicious as you want to be, given the scenario.
I mean, in the past I heard what I heard, but like I said, you know, those is rumors. Me and Dude had individual talks on personal levels about things that really went down or really took place. You know, I'll tell you this much. I asked him a question one day, and I said, because he did keep it solid. He said, nigga, I was eating. But then I asked him, when did it go bad? And he looked at me and he said, when Pac got out of jail. That's when things changed.
What happened here last night?
Man, if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it.
Okay, listen up, gentlemen. We are after 2 male suspects, Dr. Dre and Ice Cube. They wanted for a string of 187. Sergeant, I want you to block off 2 streets in every direction. I want you people ready to move. Squad! I want strike team number 1 to cover all my uniforms from as high a vantage point as they can find. I want SWAT team number 2 to cover every street facing due south. Go. And hit anything that moves.
As producers. I thought he was an entrepreneur in New York. I had no idea that he was in jail.
The first time I met Michael, it was a drug case involving Bo Bennett, Mario Villabona. That trial went and resulted in a number of convictions that went to trial in a federal court. And after that case, Michael, I believe, contacted David Kenner to have him represent him on his appeal.
David Kenner was a longtime Los Angeles criminal attorney. By the late 80s, he had become part of a fraternity of top-flight attorneys that handled a lot of federal cases, a lot of big drug cases downtown. In the course of his legal work, he became Michael Harris's attorney. I think if you look at clients of his over time, David has a habit of getting very close to his clients and getting very involved in his clients' lives, perhaps more so than would be wise for a lawyer.
David just, fell in love with Michael and they became friends. He was, he was a friend to us, I looked at him like family. I was out in LA by myself and he took me in, him and his family would go out to eat. I mean, we would do everything together.
He became someone who was a confidant, a friend of Michael Harris's, and also involved in business with Michael Harris.
I think that he's a lawyer who had a lot of money and he represented people who had a lot of money, and it would not be unusual to me for somebody who represented people with money to say, I want to invest.
To achieve the massive task of getting me out of prison, it took not just money but power and the proper timing. At some point, we talked about getting into the entertainment business. That he was somewhat intrigued behind my past and he had wanted to hook up with me in some form or fashion.
I'm going back and forth to Vegas and I bump into him at a nightclub where I see him slap a dude and choke another dude. Me and him become friends, but he's 19 going on 20 and he's doing it for whoever owns that club.
Once I found out that Suge was in the entertainment business, which I had been contemplating re-entering, I made the hookup and we talked on the phone a few times.
You had a lot of people that was above us, like Harry O, Michael Harris, which was basically a lot of cats in LA's mentor.
When I asked the question to Suge, what does it actually take? He told me that we could be 50-50 partners for about $1.5 million.
Let me see you put your hands together and say, oh yeah! Let me see somebody give Dre, Suge, EOZ a round of applause. Death Row Records is going to be the record company of the 2000s.
The market we're going after, we mainly for the people. Guys really don't have the opportunity to have a chance to prove themselves. So far as GF Entertainment goes, with the studio and the films, we're giving all the youngsters the opportunity from all the neighborhoods where basically we haven't forgot where we came from.
GF Entertainment is a multimedia company. We have Death Row Records, we have a movie production unit, concerts, we're going to be doing pay-per-view concerts.
Me and Suge sat down and we had a plan that we wanted to do a whole pay-per-view concert with the whole Death Row, lineup, right? And we had Pepsi-Cola was going to sponsor it.
The label started with Dr. Dre, who was going to do his own thing, and with a lot of help from Suge Knight and Harry O and a number of people, and we got it all together.
What I suggested to David and Suge is that I do not include my name in the corporation, and that these guys could go ahead and do the actual upfront managing and representing of the company. Kenner started off as my guy, watching my back, supposedly, and Lydia was also there to represent my percentage of GF Entertainment, which we decided would be the parent company of Death Row.
Los Angeles police announced that 21-year-old Calvin Broadus, better known as rap star Snoop Doggy Dogg, had turned himself into police on Friday along with two other young black men, all accompanied by an attorney, in connection with the murder on August 25th of a man named Philip Waldemariam.
Suge had 5 or 6 pending cases, which David Kenner was able to control and get rid of. Interscope would have not been able to deal with the Death Row problems if it wasn't for Kenner. Kenner was the mediator. He would go to them and tell Jimmy how much money he needs to fix this situation and let him handle it his way. David is as smooth as you want to be and as vicious as you want to be, given the scenario.
rapper who celebrates sex, crime, and violence in his music, is in a hospital tonight with AIDS. He says he has no idea how he got the fatal disease.
You know, like a month and a half before he got sick, and I'm kind of thinking New York is where he got sick, New York is where he got sick, New York is where he got sick. The tunnel, that's near the river. Man, it was so cold. I've never been that cold in my life, and the cabs wasn't stopping for no. So I stood outside for about 20 minutes, man, till my eyeballs was freezing. I went inside. He took off walking by himself. And I just know that's where he got sick.
I thought it was a serious problem then the first time when he went to the hospital, but then shortly thereafter when he wasn't getting better, maybe about a week later, and we went back and they started running a lot of tests, and definitely when I got the call with the diagnosis, that's when I knew it was serious.
Man, I love your show. I like what you're doing. Really. Thank you. Right? That's why I came here. Fresh out of jail, I'll come to check you out, right?
Right.
Why the bulletproof vest?
Oh, it's not. Oh, no, that's just. It's your style. You've been in the can for a while. This is what everybody. That's what all the talk show hosts are wearing.
This is a new thing, right?
Yeah.
See, if somebody gonna do something about it, see, technology is so high, right?
Right.
So if you shoot somebody, you go to jail forever. So the kids, you don't want to go to jail forever, right? So they got this new thing out there. People sell them all the time. They got this stuff they get blood from somebody with AIDS, and then they shoot you with it.
Oh,
so
well, that seems bad.
That's a slow death.
Yeah.
An EAZY E thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, no. Okay.
Wait, I'm right in the mood.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Suge's terror alert level just went from elevated to high. Are you worried about the terrorists at all, Suge?
AIDS joke. You made that comment in that skit about EAZY.
Yeah.
About busted ass HIV pussy having, and then EAZY actually ended up dying from HIV.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you found out about it? Because obviously you didn't know nothing at the time, but
I didn't know nothing at the time. You know, it's a shame. You know, I just fell for him, and you know, rest in peace, EAZY. You know.
I know what you're speaking of.
You know what I'm talking about?
That was Snoopy's record.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, was that a Snoop's record?
Yeah.
Okay. Right around the same time, though.
They're playing dominoes or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then EAZY E turns around and announces to the world, the first rapper ever to announce to the world that he has AIDS, and then a month later he dies.
Yeah, it was sad, man. Like, that really hurt a lot of people.
You know, you can tell a million things about the way a nigga screw face you. And this nigga did it so fucking slick. Like, you gotta slow it down frame by frame to see the screw face he gave Vlad. And then not only that, but to top it off with, yeah, you know, that really hurt a lot of people. You know, to show compassion, man, is huge well after a man dies. Especially because you personally, sir, whom I admire as an MC, one of the dopest. You got a shitty personality, man. You know, it's been 25 years. Whatever personal beefs you and Eric had, you would think that you would have let it go by now. But I digress, my brother. Peace and blessings.
EAZY were never super close, but that's who brought you up.
Yeah. I got a lot of respect for him. I don't like what happened, but I gotta respect it. Like, EAZY's a street guy. He's a hustler. He was a dope boy from all accounts. You know what I mean? So you gotta take the good with the bad. Like, I don't blame any of those guys for those lessons learned.
Yeah.
And I know that in my life, most things are divine anyway. So it was a path I had to go. I had to go through all of that crap to get here.
Yeah.
You know, to get to this moment where I can be strong enough with a clear enough mind to change the world, you know, if I so desire it.
I talked to Yella. I also talked to BG Knockout. Yella said he was the only person from NWA to show up to the funeral. You were the only one that showed up to the funeral out of the group.
Yeah.
That seems kind of strange. I
mean, some people probably just can't take it. Couldn't, you know, actually take it. You never know. You know, I don't know what the reasons they are. We never talked about it, even to this day. That subject can never get talked about.
Did you show up to the funeral?
No.
Why?
Eric and I weren't that close, bro. You know, like, I wasn't his friend. Like, they were his friends. You know, like, I grew up with this guy and I knew, you know, our time was pretty short together. We spent maybe 3 years around each other. And
how did Dre feel about the whole thing when you heard the news? Because they were super close. Like, him and EAZY, I heard, were...
I think he was really hurt.
Running partners.
You know, I think he was super hurt, you know, but Dre never shared those things. You know, when things happen, and I don't like talking about Dre because he don't like it, but when things happen in Dre's life that's really tough, he separates himself from everybody.
Right.
You know?
Like the death of his brother?
Yeah. You know, he just, and so only a select few people are ever around him to experience those moments. And I've been around sometime, but I was going through my own drama.
Yeah.
You know, during that time, and Dre and I weren't as close as we had been.
How do you feel about all the conspiracy theories about it?
I don't really get into all of that. You know what? Like, in my mind, there's a purpose for everything, bro.
Okay.
And those things happen only the way that they could have happened, and for a reason.
When you talk about the conspiracy theories of it, I think what really got all these things going was when Suge.
I know in your book, you said that EAZY let the snake in the building when the DOC was like the fifth Beatle in the group. What was your beef with him?
He brought in Suge Knight.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so
Suge Knight was his guy, and he brought Suge Knight around. And Suge Knight to me marked the end of fun in hip hop. Before that, it was fun. We all had fun, man.
Yeah.
After Suge Knight got involved, there was no more fun. There were guys sitting in our office with Uzis 24 hours a day. You know, so he changed the entire complexion of what was happening at Ruthless.
It's probably just a sick ass joke. Like I told you about the pissing on people's legs. He thought stuff like that was funny. He really did. You know what I mean? And like I said, sick joke, because like life and death is nothing to play with, and it's certainly nothing to fucking joke about. And EAZY may have done wrong, but he did a lot of good, you know, for a lot of people. And he made a way for a lot of people.
Mystery of the last 20 years, and Suge Knight just might have solved the cold case. The incarcerated rapper reportedly revealed his theory on who orchestrated Tupac's murder and why. In a signed affidavit written by Suge Knight's attorney, Thaddeus Culpepper, the rapper reveals that his first wife and former Death Row Records security chief killed Tupac. The affidavit states, Knight has known for many years that Reggie Wright Jr. and his ex-wife Sharitha were behind the murder of Tupac and attempted murder of Knight. The shocking yet
unfounded revelation in the affidavit is to cooperate in an upcoming documentary called Tupac Assassination.
Suge and Tupac get taken to the hospital, but you're still back at 662.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Suge and Tupac get taken to the hospital, but you're still back at 662.
Yeah.
You get word of what just happened.
Yeah.
But people weren't thinking that Tupac was going to die because Tupac has been shot other times and he survived.
When Suge came to the club, we asked what was going on. Everybody was finna leave. They was finna shut 662 down. Suge said no, he gonna be all right. He was hit in his medallion. So everybody kept partying. We all stayed there and we partied all night. And I think the next morning or something, day after, they said Tupac was dead. So it was like, wow, y'all said he finna live, but then now he's gone.
Yeah, and to this day, Suge Knight, we've seen interviews with him. I mean, like, he disrespected. I think it was on Jimmy Kimmel. He disrespected EAZY E. You being so close to EAZY, I mean, how does that make you feel? Obviously pissed off. I mean,
I can't believe that the FBI or somebody, I mean, that show is all over YouTube. He said, you kill him, you inject him EAZY E style, man. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, do they not care when an African-American kills another African-American? Do they not care? I don't know, man. I mean, why haven't they solved Big E's murder? Why haven't they solved Tupac's murder? Why haven't, if EAZY was murdered, if he was injected, why haven't they solved that? You can't tell me that people that could track down Osama bin Laden and kill him in Pakistan can't find out who killed Biggie on Wilshire Boulevard coming out of the fucking Peterson Museum with fucking cops there.
Yeah.
So,
or Pac in the Vegas, right there in Vegas, in front of everybody.
Yeah, it makes no sense on camera. I mean, it just makes no sense to me. So, I've always wondered about that.
Battle for Compton, directed by Richard Bond and Michael Douglas Carlin. The documentary is based off their book, Tupac 187, The Red Knight. The co-directors sent salient points from the book, which share their theory of what led to Tupac's shooting, to Culpepper, who then read it to Suge. A spokesperson for the film said Culpepper told Carlin individually that not only did Knight confirm the events portrayed in Compton, which portrayed Knight was the intended target and Shakur as collateral damage, as true, but also goes on to allege that these 1996 events may have been the first in the history of attempts on Knight's life, culminating in the recent attempted killing of Knight at the 10 Club in Los Angeles, where Knight was shot 6 times. Suge believes Wright and Sharitha were planning a Death Row Records coup and had intended to kill him that fateful Vegas night in 1996. The theory goes, Wright, who oversaw Death Row while Suge was in jail, wanted total control of the label, and Sharitha would gain everything else, as she and Suge were not yet divorced. Suge has kept quiet about all that he knows about the shooting for 20 years, leading to many conspiracy theories. However, he was reportedly so curious how Bond and Carlin got so many of the alleged details accurate that he even hired his own investigators to find out what the filmmakers found out. Apparently, other people Bond and Douglas interviewed supported the Wright-Sharitha co-conspirators theory. However, Wright denies having anything to do with Tupac's murder and notes that people who spread this theory in the past have all turned up dead. I believe in karma. All these people are dropping dead. I keep telling people God don't like ugly. I hope people learn a lesson from this. Yeah, this statement doesn't exactly clear his name, In fact, Wright goes on to make matters worse and issuing an ominous warning to the filmmakers pushing this theory. The next person is probably going to be R.J. Bond. I ain't predicting no death on anybody, but they better get themselves right. They better stop with all this bull crap they've been promoting, because they're all dying like flies around here. Suge is currently on bail, facing murder and attempted murder charges, running over 2 men with his car in 2015. Terry Carter was one of Suge's friends and died due to his injury.
Straight off the streets of motherfucking Compton, it's the downest nigga I know. Easy motherfucking me, about to kick ass in 93. Yeah. I creep and I crawl and I creep and I crawl and I creep and I crawl, creep, creep. I said I creep and I crawl and I creep and I crawl and I creep and I crawl, creep, creep. I got my niggas from Grape Street, why? I got my niggas from Grape Street, why? I got my niggas from the CBT. I got my niggas all across the motherfucking land that's down with the EAZY. Now, early in the morning, I wake.
While I was working at 662, I heard something over the Nextels that we all carry for security. And what I heard was God.
You're now listening to the smooth sounds of Rick and Daddy's music.